Okay, let's see. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, sorry about that. Okay. Hello, guys. Sorry about that. For whatever reason, this microphone just started acting up. I tested out everything and it was working perfectly fine, and suddenly it just decided to go on strike. I'm not sure why, so I apologize for the confusion and the inconvenience there. I see people are coming in. Hello, 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 everyone. One of the frustrations of trying to do things or trying to run things technically on YouTube. But we're here. And, well, at least I'm here. And you guys are trickling in. So I'm happy that you guys are making it. Again, I apologize for the inconvenience there. Yep, just still learning about all this technology stuff. Okay, so let's see who's here. Mozilla says, okay, you can hear me now. Thank you, thank you. Elena Montoya says sound. The sound is there. Okay, Kim Burris is here. Suzanne Taylor is here. She's saying hello. June Hansen is here. And Judy Hebert is here. Diane Watson is saying, yay! Katie Crafts is saying, okay, she can hear me now. Thank you, Katie. Charlotte De Roches, hello, hello. Sewing with Luane says, yeah, we are back. Yes, we are. June Hansen is here. I think I said that. And let's see, Jackie's here. That's Jackie DVD Stitch Art. She's saying hello. Linda Faust is here. Hey, Linda. Kathleen Champ, how you doing, girl? Well, be safe, Kathleen, because yeah, it's pretty wet out there. Cutie Rupert is saying aloha, aloha. Okay, and let's see. Whoops. Sorry, I'm trying to get used to this. Well, I'll explain what's kind of going on too. Just kind of scrolling through the chat. I see, guess who it is? It's Miss Nancy. She found me. Thank you for finding me. Donna Hoffler's here. She's saying hello to everyone. And Tamara Spaulding. Hello. Hello from Texas. Hello. So what... let's see. So, okay. So what is going on? Well, if you haven't noticed, maybe the picture is a little bit more clear now, because I actually spent invested in some things. After last week's debacle, I made a decision to actually, sorry, let me just stop something here. So after last week's debacle, I decided to put an end to, or retire this old computer, and I bought a mini computer in which it's supposed to be a little bit more powerful. and it's supposed to actually be a little bit more stable. So I won't, if you don't see the picture, like I've been watching some of the replays on the lives in the past, and I noticed that the picture was glitching a lot. And that was because of the old computer was not powerful enough to handle a live stream. So I did purchase a little bit more powerful computer. It's actually a gaming computer, and amazingly, it's very, very small. In fact, here, let me show it to you. If hopefully nothing breaks down. Let me just do this. I'm going to just tilt the camera for a second so you can see this. This box right here, I mean, this is what, a 5-inch square? This is the entire computer. It's called the Mini. Now, it's not as powerful as some of the more desktops, but can you imagine this little thing is actually a lot more powerful than the computer that I had over there, and it's maybe not even a tenth of the size. So hopefully this will perform a lot better. Okay, and I will tilt the camera back up. Okay. People are saying that the image is freezing. That doesn't appear to be on my end, though. Let me just double check something here real quick. Okay, so I do see that it's, well, it's a little bit more kind of delayed. Not much I can do with that. Okay. Sorry, I'm still kind of getting myself oriented with all this stuff. There we go. Okay, I think it's caught up. Okay. So, what are we working on tonight? Okay, so I'm going to make a few Churndash blocks. I kind of been, ever since I did this block as part of the Scraps series, I kind of wanted to make a whole quilt out of it. So, I'm going to be making some Churndash blocks here. Let's see. So I'm going to use up these particular, I'll make a couple blocks tonight. These are fairly quick to make. So here I got four, these are 5-inch squares here, and I'm going to use these string blocks in which I'm going to trim them down to 5 inches. And I'm going to need 4 of these all together. So I got one here. Whoops. Okay, so let's start off our block by making the half square triangle. So I already marked my line, 1/4 inch on each side of the line here. Okay, so again, I'm using a new computer, so it might be a little bit glitchy still. There's things that there's some software that I still need to install. The microphone is probably, well, I might need to actually work on things with the microphones. And I can kind of see that the picture quality is a little better on this. I just got a separate computer running on the side next to me, and it is a little bit delayed in terms of the video itself. But it looks like the picture quality is a lot better, so I'm happy with that. What am I doing with this? Okay, let's take another string block, and I'm going to trim this down to 5 inches. So what is everybody working on tonight? I want this side actually. Well, first of all, let me take all the paper off. I've been actually spending my whole month of January just kind of decluttering and working on some other crafting projects. As you guys saw, the ornaments, the wreaths, just using up some crafting supplies, but now I'm coming back to quilting, or now I'm starting to get back to quilting. Donna Hoffler says picture is clearer. Okay, that's good to know, Donna. My brother lives in... Oh, she's talking... That's Kim talking to someone. Sorry if I missed a question. Please put it back in the chat because, again, I'm kind of learning this new software or this new computer. And let me tell you, it's a little bit of a learning curve for me. Hello, Miss Claudette. Guess who Nancy says the internet line is drowning? I guess it is. See, Karen Brunette says, I'm working on the Cupid box table runner from Fat Quarter Shop. It's my first box project. Ooh. Yeah, I used to do the subscription box from Fat Quarter Shop, but after a while, I stopped doing it because the fabric was great, but all the notions were almost the same thing every month to me, or at the time. So I just said, you know what, I'm not really doing much of the projects. Of course, I can always use the fabric, but yeah, I just kind of stopped doing it. It's not that it was a bad box. I just didn't have time to do all the projects that came with that. So I figured there's no point in me to keep spending the money for it. So eventually I did stop. But I don't know, I've been kind of thinking maybe I should start up with that subscription box again. Okay, so... these string blocks, by the way, I make them to 6.5 inches, and what I'm doing is I'm trimming it down to 5 inches so that it'll fit this. And what I am doing with this right now, this is gonna, I'm doing a 2 at a time half square triangle method, and each of the half square triangles I'm gonna square it up to 4.5 inches because that's the size that I need. So I got one, and also the other side. Cut that, we'll sew this side. And I totally sewed that crooked. Well, we'll see how bad it is. Okay, so I'm going to cut this in half here. Put that there for now. The notions were blouse scissors don't cut, and I have no use for a heart-shaped collapse bowl now. Okay. Let's see. Since I don't quilt, I do enjoy you, Tiffany, Becca, and a few other quilts, so I watch and crochet. Oh, okay. Well, thank you, Becky. One of these days we're gonna get you, though. So if you've never seen this, what I am doing is I'm doing a different square up technique where I'm going to make a 4.5 inch half square triangle block. And what I'm doing here is I'm putting the 4.5 inch mark on my ruler here and the 4.5 inch ruler mark here. There's a seam. I'm putting those two marks right on the seam line. Let me move it up, sorry. And what I am doing, or what I'm about to do, is I'm just going to trim it there. Trim it there. For me, this is a much more, well, blade is dull. To me, this is a much more faster way of squaring up a half square triangle block, in which then from here, I got a half square triangle that measures 4.5 inches. Let's see. 4.5, yep. And I can just cut my dog ears off here. And cut my dog ears off there. And we'll press this back. But before we do that, we'll do the second one. So again, putting my 4.5 inch mark on the seam line there, and 4.5 inch mark seam line there. That looks good. Trim off. Oh. Didn't quite get the thread there. There. Oh. Maybe it's time to change this blade. It's not cutting as crisp. Open this up. We'll get a 4.5 inch half square triangle. Okay, so Sewing with Lorraine says, working on finishing up my village green top. Just need to sew together top section and bottom. The top and bottom border. Okay. Kimber says, I've been working on some 9.5-inch string blocks using newspaper for my foundation. Finally found my 6.5-inch ruler. Yay, Kim! Hello, Miss Sandy. Glad you made it here tonight. Tonight's going to be a little bit rough because, well, again, new computer, so I still haven't finished setting up everything, but I figure at least we can get a live done. And hopefully the image quality is a lot better. I can kind of see on my old computer, its setups on the side there, that it's still decent quality. So hopefully this will work out better and it'll turn out to be a better viewing experience for everyone. I hope. Okay. I'm still trying to get myself situated on this computer, so bear with me, guys. Okay. Now, with all of these scraps, I am sewing them together. And I could use it as the center of my block. In fact, that's what I might do. On one of these. So, such as this right here, this is a 4.5-inch square in which I took the leftovers that I cut off from previous blocks and sewed it together. So I'm going to use this as my center. Okay. Now let me trim this down to a 5-inch square here. Oh, wait, no, 5-inch and 5-inch there. Measure twice, cut once. I almost cut the wrong size there. So trim that off. Trim that off. I'll put these to the side in my scrap pile. And we'll quickly take the paper off from the back. Eric, have you seen the scrambled Churndash from MSQC? Yes, I actually have. I think they do it a little differently, or yeah, I believe they did it a little differently than what I'm doing here, in which I'm doing it differently from them because of the fact of what I'm working with here, but it ends up being the same block or looking the same. Okay, let me grab a little piece of scrap so I can sew it together. Do I have something that fits a little closer? I think this will work. Yeah. Doo-doo-doo. Okay. If you ever really want to see me how I create, well, this is it. I got crumb pieces here, my actual materials here, and I'm sewing, getting my own self confused with this. Yeah, I'm a very messy creator. Let's just put it that way. Okay, I'm going to trim this part off. Okay. Measure tight, measure twice, cut once, cuss 3 times, and start over. There you go, Kim. That is me to a T. Tomorrow Sprodlin says, I'm working on a 3-inch quilt as you go. Hexi quilt, a fun change of pace. Wow, 3-inch? Wow, that's really small. You know, a hexi quilt is one that I've never done. And quite honestly, I don't know if I really want to do a hexi quilt. Yeah. Has anybody, I'm kind of curious, has anyone has anyone out there ever done a full size or a bed size hexi quilt? Because that's quite an undertaking, I will say that. And that is not on my bucket list of quilts to make yet. Okay. Clear that off. There's one, and so 4.5. 4.5 there. 4.5 there. Now I'm going to go and press these. Let's see. Okay. I want to make. Oh, Jackie says I made one. Want to make another with smaller blocks for a table runner. Okay, so she's talking about the Churndash scramble from Missouri Star. Let's see. Kimber says, I pieced one by hand, fabrics that Mom helped me pick out. It covers the top of my queen size bed. Wow. How big were the hexes, Kim? Until a shortcut is found to do them. No thanks. I'm with you there, Sewing with Louine. I know I have one more half square triangle somewhere. Oh, there it is. Okay, so let me trim these dog ears off. Okay, got that all trimmed down. So we got a bunch of half square triangles here. Let me move that to the side. So half square triangle there, half square triangle here. And where did that one small other block go? I think it's under here somewhere. Oh. Where did I put it? Nope. Okay, let's clear out some space because I lost a block. Oh, no, there it is. There it is. Okay. But let me clear off some space here. So half HST there, HST here. This block's going to go in the center. And I need to make, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 bar blocks. So I need one more. So I got 2 of them there. Clear off that for a minute. And I will make a 5-inch square here. Well, Kimber says they were 2-inch hexes. Wow, 2-inch hexes on a queen size quilt. I'll give you credit on that one, Kim, because those are tiny. Okay, that is small. Yes, Brenda Foley says I'm awake for some reason. Well, hello, sunshine. The hexie is measured by the side length, so they weren't bad to do. Oh, okay. Oh, that's right. You don't measure it across. It's measured by the length of the side. That's right. So it's not really, well, still, that's pretty small. Tamara says, let's see. I am using templates from MSQC. You cut the back, the batting, and the front of the hexies, then fold the back around the front, and so finally you sew all the hexies together. You can embellish the hexie templates. Yeah, you know, I think I bought one with the intention of trying to do a hexie, but after I saw how you're supposed to do it, I said forget that. So I don't know where that template is. Well, I know it's somewhere here. Yeah, but until somebody can kind of figure out how to actually sew a hexie together using a machine and not hand sewing, just like Larry said, or just like sewing with Luane said, yeah, that's not on my bucket list of quilts to do. Okay. Hey, Miss Sheila D. Hi, Joyce. Donna Hoskins says, I have 1 1/4. Oh, I have 1 1/4 hexie templates cut. No fabric yet. Yeah, that's pretty. It sounds small, but because they measure it different, it's actually not as small as you think. Okay, so all that I did with this particular, again, this is a 5-inch square. So a 1/4 inch on this side, so a 1/4 inch on this side. Now I'm going to cut it in half to 2.5 inches. Okay, now these will go as my bar blocks here. but I do need to cut these two down to a 4.5-inch square. So so I just gave it a quick press, and we're going to trim these down to 4.5 inches now. And it just so happens that this ruler is a 4.5-inch width, so easy. Easy peasy breezy. Okay, so now I can lay out the entire block here. Let's see if it'll have room. So 1/2 inch. Well, no, I got one more block to do. Darn it. Forgot about this last piece. So 1/4 inch on this side. Kim says they can be sewn on a machine. It just involves Y seams. Yeah, that's a lot of Y seams. Not something I would look forward to. But oh, whoa. Oh shoot! I think I just nicked. Yeah. I think I just damaged my blade. Oh well. The blade's kind of dull anyway. Yeah, Y seams are not my favorite thing. I can do them. I know how to do them. But they're not fun for me. Okay, so now we should be able to kind of lay this block out. Half square triangles, bar block there, center square, half square triangle there, half square triangle here, bar block, and oh, I gotta trim these down. Bar block and bar block. Sorry, I know you can't see the bottom there. I realize that. Can I zoom out? Oh, no, that's about as far as I can go with the camera, so sorry about that. There we go. Jackie says you could make them using half hexes. I think Nancy Zeman has half hexy templates. But wouldn't you still have to do a Y seam in between? Well, I guess not, because I know Missouri Star has that half hexy template ruler, and they have a technique where you don't have Y seams. Something to consider, I guess. MSQC has the 5 and 10-inch half hexy. Oh, there you go, Kim. She read my mind. They make it easy to sew hexes because you're actually making a row, then sewing rows together. Yep. Okay, I think it's these two that I need to trim down. Or no, this one and this one. So I will need to trim these down to 4.5 inches, and we can start sewing this block together. You know what? I'm going to trim it on both sides here because I can see. Trim that in, and I could see that this this end here got a little bit stretched out when I pressed it, so 4.5 there, 4.5 here. Okay. So let me relay it out for 1 second. Now, here's a thought. Should I go, let's see, should I go pinks? Should I go pink to the center? I do like that. Or should I flip this around and actually go strings to the center? But if I do the strings, then maybe I should swap out the middle. Decisions. Let me see if I can tilt this camera upward there. Okay, Sheila D says pink. Donna says yes, a pink middle. Pink to the center is awesome. Okay. I think I do like it like that too. We'll put that. Okay, let's start sewing my rows together. Whoops. So I will go take these two. I'll take these two. And the bottom now. And okay, so I'm gonna just grab two 2.5-inch squares here. Now these 2.5-inch squares, I'm just making 4 patches. This has actually nothing to do with this particular project, but just making a collection of 4 patches with 2.5-inch squares. So I'm just gonna sew that together so I can trim this off. And let's reorient myself here. So the top row, I'm going to press it away from the center. No, actually, I should press the top row towards the center, because this middle row, I'm going to press it away or out, because I don't want to try and press a seam with all of this bulk in that center. And bottom, I'm going to press it back toward the center. So how did it go? Press in on the top, press out on the center, and press in on the bottom. Yeah, you got that. That way my seams will nest, hopefully very nicely. And now I sew on the third side. Let me cut this 2.5 inch square there. Take that middle. And the bottom, so it goes like that. Helps to know what the block actually looks like before you get it all mixed up. And I'm just going to grab another set of 2.5 inch squares here. Okay, so again, top goes in toward the middle, and I'm just finger pressing these for now. Press in, press outward, and press inward. Now we're going to sew the top two, and these should nest. How many of you guys pin your fabrics? Or how many of you like to use pins? Because I will use pins when I'm sewing rows together just to make sure that the seams and the points match up. But I see a lot of people that don't do it. And for some reason, these went the wrong way. Okay, I will complete my 4 patch. I'll press that, finger press this, pressing it over to the dark side, and we'll line it up so that these two will nest very nicely. Jim says he pins. Okay. Karen Brunette says she pins. Okay. More than not. Okay. Nana Mona says she pins. Kim Burr says she pins a lot. Cindy Carp. I can't really do anything about that, Cindy. I'm sorry. The camera's just not gonna be able to pick up on what I'm sewing here. If I do need to, well, if you want to see me actually sewing, then I would have to get a third camera, which I can't do with this. Although I could do that, but that's kind of a weird angle. Let's see if that's better. Okay. Donna Hoffler says, iPin seems for sure. Mozilla says, not much of a pinner. And Jim Bennett says, I have to pin. It's easier on his hands. Okay. Sandy Adger says she pins. Nana Mona says, it's turning out really nice, Eric. Oh, thank you. Hey, Remo. Missed you coming in. Okay. 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 Okay, that's good to know. Thank you, Cindy. I will try and work on this camera position for this camera here. Sorry. So we'll try and figure out if I can actually make it wider or give you a wider shot. Here's a question. How many of us, or how many of you out there, sew over your pins? Because I am guilty of doing that. I will say that. But it's sort of, there's a lot of people think that it's very sacrilegious. And truth be told, if the sewing machine needle actually hits the pin in a certain spot, it could do damage to the machine. But, for the most part, if your pin is thin enough, your sewing machine needle will just go right over it. But I've had some close calls in the past, but I am guilty of sewing over pins, even though I know it's a bad habit. But some people or some people over-exaggerate it. And what I'm doing here, again, this 4-patch has nothing to do with the block that I'm actually sewing. I'm just using it as a leader and ender. But what I am doing with this 4-patch right now is I am plucking out the seam so I can actually spin the center and make it lie a little bit more flat. Normally I could just kind of twist and open the seam, but because I'm actually using a smaller stitch length, I do have to kind of pick out the stitches here. Okay, there's my 4-patch. Again, the 4-patch has nothing to do with the Churndash block. And I gotta sew another 4-patch to get this off. So, Christmas fabric. Okay, let's sew these together for a second. All right. Okay, guess who? Nancy says, not me. I guess I'm the only one that sews over pins. My aunt used to say those itis boys are bad, but Arthur is the worst. I totally agree. Oh, arthritis. Okay. Good one, Kim. Never heard that one before, actually. Donna Hoffler says, no sewing over pins. Have seen what it does to a machine. Yep. I would agree with you, but I still do it. Jim Bennett says he bought the clips, trued the clips, gave the clips to my daughter. Ooh. Okay. Karen Brunette says, never sew over pins. Yeah, I'm guilty of doing that. Nanamona says, it's okay. We can see both. Okay. Donna Huskin says, no, for safety reasons. Yep. Joyce Hernandez says, I used to, not anymore. Did something happen, Joyce? I'm just curious. Sandy Adger says, do not sew over pins. Yeah, I mean, I would agree with all of you that it's not a good idea to sew over pins, but I'm guilty of doing it. If the pin is thin enough, actually, like these, I mean, these are 0.1 millimeters thick, so I can get away with sewing over this. I don't encourage it, but yeah, not a good habit to have. Sewing with Lorraine says, I bought a chest harness and a 6-inch tripod, so going to try 2-camera sewing video. As I dug out a Canon camera. Okay. Well, let us know if you ever post that video on YouTube. I'll give you some comments or tips as to, or some feedback, I should say. Well, that's if you want it. Very rarely, only if I'm using extra fine pins. Yep. Yeah, that was Jackie. Sewing with Lorraine says, no sewing over pins. Okay. Never sew over pins. Hit one once. That's scary. Yeah, that was Jim Bennett. It is scary. I almost broke a machine once, actually. Or I thought I broke a machine once. But I still do it. So, do as I say, don't do as I do. Alex Anderson struck a pin, and it took several weeks to get her machine fixed. Yeah, wow. Yeah, because if the machine actually hits the pin in a certain position, if it's dead, or if the needle hits the pin dead on center, it can do some serious damage to the machine. So, yeah, it's not a good idea. Sewed over pins when making clothes. Stopped doing that when I started quilting. Okay, that's Katie Crafts. I had the needle bend and it still sewed, but my seam was 1/8 larger. Irish Sail Lady says, only once and it scared the heck out of me, so never again. At work, I wear glasses, so if the needle breaks and flies, I have some protection. Sail material can get quite thick. Yep. Yeah. Okay. Joyce Hernandez says, got the pin stuck in the quilt. Had to take the whole thing apart to get it. Wow. Okay, so yeah, not a good idea to sew over pins. If it's an extra fine pin or if it's a very, very thin pin, you can get away with it, but it's not something that I would encourage people to do. Okay, here's my block. We got this one done. Let's see. Can I do another one? Shall we do another one? And let's give this one a good press. Let me move all of this stuff here. Yeah, let me put it on my design board. There we go. So now you can see the whole entire block. Almost. I do like this color pink. It pops out from everything else. Okay. So some tips about the fabric choices, especially if you're going to use scraps or crumbs like I did here. These were string blocks that I just kind of cut up. When choosing out your background, try to choose a solid or a solid reading fabric, because if you do a big large scale print, it's just going to get lost with all the other stuff. So again, if you are using crumbs or string blocks and you start cutting it up like how I did, your background, you want to get it to be solid reading or a solid. If you do, or if you are going to use a print, make sure that the print is fairly small so that it doesn't distract from everything else that's going on with this block. Okay. That's the block. Now, let me switch. Hi, guys. Let me switch it up. So, if you can see behind me there, I got two of them made. Was kind of making those right before we went on live. And what I'm planning on doing is I'm going to probably make 9, maybe 9 or 12 of these total, and just make a whole quilt top out of it. Again, because one of the things I wanted to do was just make, when I did this block originally for our scrap strips, strings, and crumbs series, I wanted to make a full quilt top out of it, just using this, just with this block. So, yeah. We'll see how it goes. It should go pretty fast, so I should have this quilt top done by the end of this month. That's my goal. Don't hold me to it. All right. Please tell me again what size. Oh, what size is the finished block? Okay, so the block, this block will end up being 12 inches finished, give or take your seam allowance. Okay, so that's what I'm trying to go for. Each one of these units, here, all of the squares, they were trimmed to 4.5 inches, and the finished size of each of those squares will be 4 inches. So, yeah. If in case you are curious, or if I didn't, because I know I didn't give some good instructions with this particular block. Again, this Churndash is part of the scraps, strips, strings, and crumbs series. I think it was the second video in that series. So if you go to the Treasure Heart Creations YouTube channel and you can look under the playlist, it'll be the second video in that whole series. Or maybe I should just put a link to it down in the description when this video goes, or when the replay goes on. So maybe that's what I'll do. Okay. Thank you, everybody saying it's pretty. Okay. So why am I making this quilt? Well, as I said, I wanted to make a Churndash quilt top when we created this block in that series. But sometimes, you just need, like, there's a term that people kind of throw around when you kind of lose your inspiration. Maybe you just lose your motivation. And you may have heard other creators or YouTubers say that they lose their sojo, as they say. And that's kind of what happened to me at the end of December, which is why I didn't do much in January except just clean up the space. A lot of times when I lose my motivation to sew anything, just to kickstart something or just to get the motivation back, I will do like a crafting project not related to quilting, or I might do a quilting project where I know it's quick, it's easy, and that's why I sew a lot of string blocks or a lot of crumb blocks. And since I wanted to kind of get back into the flow of quilting, since I haven't done it for quite a while, because again, I've been cleaning and doing other things, I figure I need a quick project or a quick, how do I say, like not a quick project, but like a quilt top that I can throw together a little bit faster. So that's why I'm making these blocks, and I'm probably going to make about 9 more of them just to make a full quilt top. But what do you guys do or has anybody out there ever lost their sojo, as we all say, or your inspiration or your motivation to sew anything? Hey, Tiffany. Working late on the PC, but it's driving my eyes crazy. So here I am for a break. Oh, thanks for stopping by. Sojo. Yes, Diane, it's Sojo. So Karen Brunette says it's almost 11:30 here and 4:30 comes quickly. Gotta go for now. See you soon, Eric. Have a good rest of the week. Well, thank you for stopping by, Karen. Sometimes you need a simple project that doesn't require attention to detail. Yes, Katie. Yes. That's exactly what this particular project is, and that's exactly what me sewing all these string blocks and crumb blocks together, that's what it is. Diane Watson says, I did card making for 1.5 years when I lost my sojo. Yep. That's part of the reason why I got into paper crafting too. I was so burnt out of doing a quilt and that I just needed to take a break from it. So Kim Burr says, I've lost mine, but it's coming back slowly. Okay. Welcome back, Kim. When I lose my sojo, I iron, fold, and cut fabrics. Okay, so kind of, sort of along the same line, I start cleaning and start organizing fabrics or organizing supplies. Yep. Jackie says, postcards, pot holders, or crazy blocks. I don't make much pot holders. I should do that. I've got a bunch of orphan blocks that are stored in a box that I found, and I put the box over there, I think. Maybe I should turn them into pot holders. Thanks for the idea, Jackie. I like how you find interesting ways to use string blocks. I'm going to do this Churndash one. Okay, Sheila D., let us know how it all turns out. Okay. Sewing with Lorraine says, my sojo wanders off now and then, but it always comes home. Guess who Nancy says I did. Whoops. Where'd it go? Okay. She says, I did when hubby was told he had cancer. It has taken me a little over 1 year. Oh. Yeah, it's hard when somebody goes through an illness and you're the primary caregiver. A lot of that just it's draining. I understand that, Nancy. I totally understand that. But, yeah, after all the dust settles and you're ready to get back into sewing, it'll come back even stronger. So, Katie Craft says, cleaning up my sewing space and playing with fabric helps me get back into the quilting mood. Oh, yep. I've done that too. Of course, I am guilty of petting my fabrics. Sandy Adger says, placemats. That's another thing I don't make a lot of. Thanks for the idea, Sandy. Okay, guess who Nancy says, but it is coming back. I was asked to join a block swap. You know, interesting thing about block swaps is if you do lose your sojo, there's something about joining a block swap that can kind of get you motivated back to quilting or sewing something because, well, now you're taking responsibility for creating a block. And if you fail at that, well, you're going to have a lot of disappointed people on you. So that's why maybe that is one way to get your sojo back. Jim Bennett says, I knit when lost. I tried to take up knitting. Wasn't pretty, but I'm not giving up on it yet. So I might go back to it. Hey, Lori. And Sheila D says, I've started painting and plan to do that when my sojo is low. Yeah. So I guess a lot of us have different ways of dealing with the loss of sojo. Hey, whatever works, go for it. I mean, there's no rules to saying that you can only recover your sojo one way. So, but glad to know that I'm not the only one, and glad to know that we all struggle with that problem. So, okay, let's put this block on the design wall. Okay. Sandy Adger says, I donate placemats to Meals on Wheels. Oh, I didn't know they take placemats. Meals on Wheels. I just thought that maybe they just deliver. I know they deliver food. I just figured that. I never thought that they would accept a placemat. That's good to know. Maybe I'll make some placemats and donate it to them. That's a good idea. Thanks for that, Sandy. Okay, my sewing area got so messy that it wasn't a pleasant place to be. It's getting cleaner. I found lots of gorgeous fabric. Well, that's good. That's good, Katie. This whole creative space, well, it's still kind of a disorganized mess, but it's getting better, and I'm getting stuff organized and out the door or used up. So, yeah. Amanda Merritt says, I do small projects that are just for fun, like making doggy poop bag holders, hanging towels, or pot holders. Okay. So I guess a lot of us do like small, quick projects, which no big surprise, right? That's going to be a neat quilt. Yep. Diane, I'm probably going to make like a full video on it, talking about the topic of losing your sojo and what you can do to get it back. So, yeah. Senior Center also for placemats. Oh, okay. You know what I just discovered today, and I've been working at my current employer for almost 15 years now. And I just realized there are a ton of senior centers in that neighborhood. I mean, there's one right next door to us. Well, I don't know if it's a senior center, but I know it's a senior/assisted living kind of situation. Then I just discovered that there's one about a block down south from our office. There's one 2 blocks east, and another one west of us, and a couple more north of us. So like, wow, we're in the old folk town. Well, actually, the old folks are the only ones with the money, so yeah. Let's see, if I want a quick fix, I make a pillowcase, just sew and flip. I have a cat on my feet, and he's heavy, but keeping my feet warm. Problem is, I can't move. Uh, say hi to my buddy. All right, guys. Well, black sashing for Churndash. I might do black, or well, it just depends on what other colors I'm gonna use. But I may do black. I might even do. I'm kind of thinking maybe a pop of red. We'll see. We'll have to see about that, Jim. Donna Hoskins says, I made a thread catcher today for my grandson to place on his nightstand for tissues. He has severe allergies and flaring up at night. Aw. Well, prayer that those allergies go away. And Vera Weeks says, I keep a container of 2.5-inch squares besides my sewing machine, so I end up with 4 patches and 8 patches fairly quickly. I made the Good Night Irene from MSQC, and it uses 8 patches. Good Night Irene. You know, Vera, I've been looking for projects to use up all of these 4 patches because, like, I got a bucket full of them and I keep making them, so I'll have to check out that quilt. I remember seeing it. I just never thought of doing that. All right. He says, meow, Eric, it's time for a visit and a pet. Soon, Tiffany, soon. All right, guys. Oh, sorry. So I want to say thank you to everyone. I'm going to call it a live because, it's 8:30. And this is usually the time I start wrapping up with things. So I want to thank you guys for joining me here tonight. I do apologize for the inconvenience of this whole thing. Hopefully with this new computer, things will get better. I do see that the image quality is a lot better. Just kind of taking peeks over to my old computer on the side there. But yeah. I might be doing another live later on, maybe Thursday or Saturday sometime, so be on the lookout for that. I will try to post a notice if I do go on live. I'll try to give notice and give warning to people so that if you're available, you can join us. More likely, it'll be Thursday night, or maybe early Saturday morning. And I'm kind of watching my schedule and trying to squeeze in another project here and there. So, yep. But I want to say thank you. Yes, Vera, we are getting, in fact, okay, let me tell you quick what happened this morning. Here in Southern California, whenever it rains, it's like traffic, or people just don't know how to drive in the rain here. So this morning, as I was heading into work, there was a big accident that I was witness to, and it was two SUVs. One of the SUVs started to hydroplane, spun out of control, hit one SUV, and then that SUV then started spinning out of control and hit a minivan. And sad to say, the person in the minivan didn't make it. And what's even worse was it was not the minivan's fault. And so it was kind of a little bit depressed this morning. Of course, I was late, and I did have to stay back because I was a witness to the whole thing. So gave a statement. But yeah, we are getting tons of rain here, and it's causing some serious traffic accidents. So, but luckily, I'm fine. And at least for me, I'm kind of used to driving in the rain, growing up in Hawaii. So, but yeah, sad event this morning, but yeah. Okay, so instead, I don't want to. We're ending on a sad note there, but let's see. Do I have any jokes to tell? We got to do something can't end on a sad note. No, unfortunately, I don't. Well, just have old stories. Maybe we can tell this story again. So, nah, we'll save it for next time. Okay. Anyway, well, no. Okay, we have to start on we have to end on a happy note. So this is kind of an embarrassing thing, and I've told this story once before, but I will tell it again because we need to end on a happy note. So there was once where I was going to Costco to pick up my prescription, and this particular Costco is like totally packed. The parking lot is just full, and people are just circling around the parking lot trying to find a parking spot. So there I am. I was probably 10 or 15 minutes. I was just circling around, going up and down the parking aisles, trying to find a parking spot. And off in the distance, I see that there's a parking stall open. So I book it, go right to that parking stall, and I pull up. I get to the parking stall, park my car in there, and I started, as soon as I, turned off the car, took out the key, tried to open the door, and then I see there's these two big gray bars right next to, on the sides of the parking stall, and I'm like, this is weird. Why would they put these two bars here knowing that people are probably not going to be able to get out of the car? But somehow I kind of manage it, and I kind of wiggle myself out of the car, close and lock the door. And then I see in the front of the car, I see a whole bunch of carts, shopping carts. And I think to myself, wow, some people are so rude. They just leave their shopping carts right in a parking stall. And, how do they expect people to park in these stalls? So I took some of the shopping carts and kind of pushed it a little bit more to the side. Then I started walking to go into Costco. But before I got into the store, I heard somebody yelling at me. I didn't realize they were calling me, but eventually I turned around. And this guy, one of the Costco employees, he's saying, "Excuse me, sir, excuse me, sir, excuse me, sir." He's trying to flag me down. And I go, "Oh, yes, is there a problem?" And he tells me, "Sir, you realize you can't park there." And I go, "Why not? It's a parking stall, isn't it? And we are in a parking lot here. As you can kind of see, it's pretty full." Then the guy tells me, "No, sir, that's not a parking stall. You parked in the space where you're supposed to return the shopping carts." And then I looked at it, and then it clicked on me. Oh, that's why they have the gray bars on the side. And that's why the shopping carts were all stacked up in the front of the stall. Stupid. So, needless to say, at that particular Costco, I'm now known as the guy who parked in the shopping cart return stall. And now until in perpetuity, I have a reserved spot for parking there. So, yeah, that's a true story. At my expense, it's pretty funny. So with that, I'm going to say have a great rest of the week, and let's all get out there and let's all create something. Mwah. Bye for now.